Esther Perriam.
Your Worship, esteemed councillors, we are the Perriam whānau. We're from New Brighton. You've only given me 5 minutes, so I could talk, as you all know. 5 minutes is probably the shortest amount of time I've ever spoken. So I put together a very rushed submission, but I just want to focus on 4 things quickly, so hopefully we can get to some questions. Freedom camping. I love freedom camping. I'm a freedom camper. I've travelled all around New Zealand in camper vans and tents. And I was really excited when we opened up our community to share the awesomeness of New Brighton with the world. There were some expectations around things like broken fences and lots of rubbish, but as you see, I'm quite adept at using the Snap Send Solve app. So it's an expectation that sadly has been delivered. Those broken fences are current, I'll just let you know. I think that when we talked about freedom camping, we thought about people being self-contained. These are apparently self-contained camper vans, but I can prove to you they're not, because people are pooping in our bushes. This is the sand dunes where I live, and those are bits of toilet paper I discovered. And I also discovered this. Quite uncomfortable. I'll just leave it there for a little bit. You may be wondering how long it took me to compile all this excellent data and how far I had to trek. Sadly, this was an afternoon in autumn at approximately 3:45, and I walked 396.27 metres. Another thing I'd like to talk about is some inequity, well, what appears to be inequity, but I'm really just happy to consider swapping some staff. If I can have the people who are doing that garden at the bottom to do the garden that is the gateway to New Brighton, that would be awesome. And if I could also have the planners and engineers who designed the seawall on that side to design a seawall on the other side, that would be great too. I know that private property is not the council's agenda, but you've proved that you can do something about landlords who are shits. We've got quite a few of them in New Brighton. Here are my nominees. Once again, this took me less than 5 minutes in New Brighton on Wednesday afternoon. This has not taken me very long to compile. Finally, I'd like to talk about the fact that we are over-agencies, and I know it's not a word, to death. Currently, we are being asked to engage with City Council, DCL and Regenerate. That photo there is, well, it's not a photo, that cartoon there shows how I felt last year, where I was given a submission from I was asked to submit on a proposal from every one of those agencies, and all the submission dates ended in 1 week. City Council were asking me how I felt about the Marine Parade re-landscaping. DCL were asking me what I thought about their pools. And Regenerate asked me if they would like to put low-income housing in Rāwhiti Domain. All pretty critical things. Oh, thanks, Elliot. But we have come a long way. As you all know, well, most of you know, this time 3 years ago, we got pretty wild. Our community is still pretty wild, but there are some small wins. We've got some money on budget for hot saltwater pools. We now have a beachside playground. We've retained Rāwhiti Domain, although every agency wants to seem to have a bit of it, and we've still got our camping ground. Personally, in the last 3 years since you've seen me, I've been heavily involved in the Duke Festival of Surfing, and that picture there is the outdoor movie night that was funded with council funds, so we'd like to say thank you for that. So hopefully that's been quick, because I'm more than welcome to answer any questions that you'd like to throw my way.
Very good. I don't think I've ever heard you speak for such a short period of time, Esther, but you know, it's actually a really powerful submission, and often I think that if you focus on you know, a short presentation with the imagery as you have, it leaves a huge impression around the table. So, Aaron.
So, as part of our LTP, we asked the question around other sources of funding, and one of them was, and it was a slightly loose question around a fuel tax. But if we were to apply a fuel tax to Christchurch, and it could be any amount, but we could essentially ask the government if we're allowed to, and then would you want to see that money spent on fixing all the roads and footpaths across the city first before we spend it on other things?
I think that, obviously I have friends in Richmond, so I'm quite supportive of the work that they're doing as well, but I think it's a little bit telling that all of us eastern suburbs, we are all dealing with roading and drainage, and to be honest, it's those are necessities. As ratepayers, they shouldn't be something we're even having to talk to you about. I just can't believe we are talking about it. I think that it's so... it's absolute baseline. I'm not going to have discussions about sewage, roading. You should just do it. It's inequitable and insane that you are asking me to talk about roading and sewage versus community assets. It's not a thing.
I think that a message that we've got really, we've received the message loud and clear. I think that one of the things that people have found incredibly hard to understand is why the SKIRT program didn't fix everything that was broken, and that has been a real opening of the eyes to what the cost sharing agreement was with central government. And you know, there is a real genuine feeling that we've been shortchanged by that agreement. So thank you very much for your submission. We've got a lot of work to be doing, and it's yeah.
Oh, come on, let him ask me one. I only spoke for 5 minutes.
All right, we're on a break, so you're holding up the break, Tim.
Thank you, and lovely to see you again as always.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you. I just want to thank you. I guess it's kind of a sense of siloing when you're being talked to by Christchurch City Council, Regenerate, DCL, relevant those agencies. I think it's a really clear message for me, certainly, that we've got to remind ourselves and those groups all wanting information that it's got to be together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I work in the health sector, I think we could really take a learning from the mental health sector where they say no door is the wrong door.
Yeah.
Currently, if I talk to somebody in the street and say, oh, I've got a really great idea about this, they'll say, that's a great idea, but you should go and talk to DCL.
Yeah.
I mean, that's ridiculous. No door, the wrong door.
I think that I'm very strongly of the view that we should merge Regenerate Christchurch, DCL and Otakaro and just have a single agency that does the planning and the delivery, but that's something that we'll continue to work on. But look, thank you very much. No, shh, please. Right, we're going to adjourn for a break and we will be back here at 11:05 with Jean Bell. Thank you.